Okay, we are live. Hello.
Amazing.
Oh man. Okay. So, all right. So we're here to talk about Take a Hint, Dani Brown.
Oh, yep. Let me grab the book.
By Sally Hibbert, and I think this was an interesting read. I mean, I think we all liked it though.
Yeah.
Right? Y'all like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, whoops. Somehow I got it turned on my computer where I get like Instagram notifications like on my laptop now, and it just keeps zooming across the screen, and I'm like, stop.
Oh.
I know. I need to figure out how to turn that off. Anyway, so we're going to talk about Take a Hint, Dani Brown, which was our book for this month. We all loved Chloe Brown, too. I think Chloe was one of my favorite books of the year. So we were all really anticipating this one, which can be kind of nerve-wracking to read, I feel like, because you just don't know if it's going to like meet your expectations. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I guess, anyone want to give a synopsis for anybody? Or I can do it.
You can go for it.
I did a synopsis of this in my vlog yesterday, and I feel so terribly. So.
Okay, so basically this book is about Dani, who is she's a professor. She's working on her PhD, so she's a PhD student, and she's pretty much kind of just wants more like friends with benefits people, like companions rather than relationships. And it's about Zaf, who is just so sweet. And he is an ex-rugby player, and something happened in his past, made him quit. And he works security at the place that Dani works. So that's how they meet. And I feel like that's kind of all you need to know. Dani is like I don't know. She's very, what word would you call for her?
Like, blunt.
Yeah. Very bold, very blunt, like of the sisters. Which is really interesting because she's definitely like each Brown sister, I feel like has such different personality traits. She did a really good job of like differentiating them, which is good. So that's pretty much.
And I mean, the tropes that, sorry, if my chair squeaks at all, I am so sorry. It is
the squeaking chair.
It has fake dating.
Yep. Thank you, Jen.
Lovers. Friends to lovers.
Yeah, friends to lovers.
Yeah. I
just which is so funny because those are like two of my favorite tropes of all time.
Yep.
I still like Chloe Brown better.
I know, it's interesting. Me too. And we were all saying it's really interesting because I love fake dating or like a fake relationship. Friends to lovers is hit or miss for me, and that's not my favorite trope. But when I heard it
so close to like enemies to lovers that I'm like,
yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, oh no, I want them to like loathe each other first. But yeah, so there's some really good tropes in here too, and we would highly recommend. I think we would all recommend it still. So
most definitely.
Yeah, so I guess before we get in, does anyone want to say like what they're reading right now? Or what they want to read?
I finished this book literally like 2 hours ago, so I'm not currently reading anything.
Yeah. That's cool. I am kind of the same because I finished it this morning, and then I've been working on getting a new phone all freaking day.
Oh, really?
It was just like one thing after another. Like I couldn't get the thing set up, and they couldn't get the plan. You know how that works with like technology, and then you're like, sweet Jesus, I just want a piece of working technology. I don't have it. I had to order one. They had to ship it to me, but that's all good. So I haven't really read much today, and I finished this morning. But I am. So we're doing the Summer Fling readathon. So it's basically just a readathon to encourage people to pick up some books in August, romance if you want, or whatever you want. But there's like prompts, and so I think I'm gonna start the first one for that tomorrow, which is, I think I'm going to read Behind the Bars by Brittany C. Cherry.
Oh, I've heard that one's good.
Yeah, everyone said that's one of their favorite Brittany C. Cherry books, and I haven't read it yet. So it's not on
my favorite one is The Silent Waters by her.
Oh, that series, like I've only read the first one in that, and it like broke me. in half.
Oh yeah.
So now I'm like, I don't know if I can go back to that. But yeah, that's what I'm reading. I'm gonna read Behind the Bars, and then I think I'm gonna listen to that one on Audible Escape. And I don't know what else I'm gonna pick up. I'll probably pick up a physical book too, but I'm not sure which one yet.
Yeah, I'm starting the summer fling tomorrow too, so I don't know what I'm gonna read though.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go through and hopefully pick a physical one off the list of things. Honestly, I know that list is gonna change too, because like I just got a couple things in from the library too that I'm like, well, there goes that TBR. Anyways, Jen, do you want to say what you're reading?
As always, I'm in the middle of like 800 books. That's
Usual.
Dependable.
Oh yeah, completely. There's nothing. I'm sorry, my computer is overheating.
Gosh, I made some tea and it's like burnt my tongue on it. Whew, that's hot.
I thought you just meant that you burnt your tongue on an overheating laptop before, Ashley.
No.
Nope, I just realized you meant your drink.
Yeah, this one.
It's supposed to be like,
Really,
why
like
is your
a laptop.
tongue in contact with
I'm
okay,
to
we're dead.
anyways, Jen, go for it.
Just being in this side of my office, I get backlit really easy from the window, so I'm sorry if my light fluctuates. But I am currently almost done Magnus Chase by Rick Riordan, the first one, which I'm really enjoying. I'm on a Rick Riordan binge. It's a good time. And I've also picked up Sense and Sensibility last night, even though I was reading it in June.
I love that book.
Pardon?
I love that book.
Oh yes, we love Jane Austen in this household. I've read all of her books, but I want to do like a rating Jane Austen video, where I rank all of my favorite Janes, and I don't remember Sense and Sensibility enough, or Emma, because I read them so long ago. I read Emma in like the end of 2018, so it's not that long ago. But my book memory is very bad. I read Sense and Sensibility the summer of 2018, so I'm going to reread Sense and Sensibility and Emma and then do that video. Because I've reread Pride and Prejudice like 800 times, so I know that one.
I was so excited that the Pride and Prejudice was back on Netflix.
Dude, I've watched that already again.
I know. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
That's fine. Yeah, these are two of the books that I'm currently reading.
Fun.
Two of the ones that I'm actually focusing on. The other ones are just
great. Cool. Well, I guess do we want to talk about our high and low of the month? Anyone have anything? You don't have to say both. If you just have something exciting or horrible that you want to talk about, go for it.
My low is that I had a coronavirus scare.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about it in my last video or whatever, but I'm good now. We're cool.
amazing.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't really know my high. My high is like maybe I got like a 3-week break off of work because the kids were out of town. So.
Oh, there you go. That's a high, right? Jen, you want to go? You got anything to share?
There's not really anything going on.
I feel like that's how the last 4 months have been.
Yeah,
For all of us, I mean.
I won Camp NaNoWriMo earlier in July. I wrote, I don't know how the shit I did it, but I did 56,000 words in 17 days.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Insanity. So that was fun. But yeah, other than that, there's nothing really going on. I've applied.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, guys. How do I get rid of that?
I don't.
Okay, yeah. I was accidentally clicked on that. All right, sorry.
Yeah, there's not really anything going on. What about you, Ashley?
I know. I feel like, I mean, it really wasn't a low per se. I think we're all just in this endless stream of monotony, but it's okay. I mean, it's better than having something horrible happen. Oh, hi. I know we're all excited for the Taylor Swift album.
Yes!
I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes, I know. I'm like, we're all fangirls here. I mean, Jen was buying a sweatshirt, so I know she's in.
Dude, I bought a sweatshirt too. I bought the blue one.
I didn't
You
buy
went on Redbubble and bought it?
No, I bought it from her merch store.
Oh, see, I was gonna buy on the first day on that first release, there was a green one, like a dark green one with the picture on it and like the lyrics on the arms, or not lyrics, it was the album track on her arms, and I was like, this is so pretty, I'm gonna buy it. And it was like 70 US, which was it 70 US? No, it was
like 70
US, and it ended up being like 70 something Canadian. And then there was shipping on top of that. So it ended up being 95 Canadian. And I was like, I don't got that kind of money.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I got really sad. And then I went on to Redbubble and found one on there.
Oh, I've bought the like light blue one with stars on it.
Very nice.
And I bought a CD because you get the
you get the digital one.
You get the also get the digital with it, and then it comes with an extra song.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
want to hear what the lake sounds like so badly. I'm like, can we put it on? Can we put it on?
I'll boxer the song to you.
Oh my God, please.
Because I need to buy it, but I was thinking, I'm like, well, I don't really listen to CDs because I don't have a CD player anymore, but I didn't realize you got the digital with it. So
yeah.
There you go.
Oh, hi, Charles, by the way.
Hi, Charles. Oh, that's okay. You don't have to be a Taylor Swift fan.
Mm-mm.
Totally fine. I mean, everyone likes who they like, you know? You got to pick a side.
I've always been a Taylor Swift fan since I
I saw her Fearless in concert the last day of 5th grade, and my mom let me skip school.
I think the one that I saw when she came here was Red.
Such a good album.
And Ed Sheeran headed before he became like really big. All he had was like A Team, so like people knew who he was, but he was like still really awkward and cute. I was like, yeah,
I love him. My two favorite artists are.
Yeah, that was an incredible tour.
Those are the two that, like, when they come out with an album, I will like immediately buy it. Everyone else I'll buy, but not maybe like immediately, you know.
Yeah, I.
Dude, my first concert was musical too. I was so mad. Dude, I was so mad that Zac Efron wasn't there. I had no idea as a kid that Zac Efron didn't sing his own song in the first movie. I was like, who the fuck is this dude on stage? I want Zac Efron. And I was so mad the whole concert.
Yeah, my first concert was Hilary Duff way back in the day.
Dude, I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who my first. I think mine was like a country singer because I was really into country when I was a kid. My mom listened to it, so I think it was like Trisha Yearwood or someone like that. I want to say it's just kind of odd for a kid, but I mean, I think I went with her. So I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I went to a Wiggles one. If anyone else who the Wiggles were. Yep.
I'm the same, Charles. I don't buy books.
But it's just the only albums that I buy.
I buy a lot of books. I don't buy albums. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. Although it is kind of weird because like I have Apple Music, so I mostly been getting stuff through that. But then it dawned on me like recently that like if you get rid of it, you don't have any of that music. So then you have to go back and buy it. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. Yeah.
My Spotify's linked to my dad. So
I gave my dad my Spotify account because I got Spotify way back in like 2015. And it's been longer than that. It's been a hot minute because like every time I get those like Spotify year things, it's like 7 rings or something. Like I've had it forever. But it was always just.
Yeah, I like Apple Music too, Charles. I mean, I had Spotify, but since I have an iPhone, I just listen to because it's on like right on your phone. So I just started doing that one, but they're both great. So in conclusion, we love Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And say your favorite song off the album.
Oh, I can't pick one.
I have 4. Your top 2 then.
I have 4, Ashley.
You got to narrow it down.
I have Cardigan, that one, and August, Invisible Strings, all of them.
Yeah,
those albums are just like
Yeah. For me, it was like I had some immediate favorites, but then there was a couple that after I listened to it a bunch of times, they kind of like grew on me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the first time I read it, I was in like a deep depressive Wow, I'm tired today. First time I listened to it, I was in a deep depressive episode. So I was just crying the whole time. But yeah.
Yeah.
A
I
lot
think
of
I love the my first favorite was the Last Great American Dynasty. I love that song. And then I like Betty a lot too.
Betty.
Right now.
One of my favorite things about this album, and then we're gonna shut up about Taylor Swift.
Oh, sorry, guys.
We're gonna talk about Dani Brown. But like one of my favorite things is that this is not a a memoir album. This is like a narrative album. Like she's storytelling with this. It's one of my favorite things because she's such an incredible storyteller. Like if the more you listen to the songs, the more connections you can see between the songs.
She's so good. So good. Okay, my top 4, and then we'll stop talking about Taylor. Mine are Cardigan, Betty, August, and Hoax.
Really? See, Hoax isn't on my list of like favorites. I want to go listen to it again.
I love Hoax.
I think it's because it's the very last song on the album, and I listen to the album and it's like always in order because I'm that person.
Yeah.
And I always end up stopping after about 5 songs because I have to go do something else.
Yeah.
So like those
I recommend
songs are like in my head. Exile.
I love that one too. Yeah.
I recommend just sitting and listening to the lyrics of Hoax because holy crap.
Peace is also really good. I didn't like Peace when I first heard it, but like that Bond their like pulse throughout the entire song is incredible.
Charles said he likes Blackpink. Is that the band? I haven't heard of them.
Band or K-pop, right? Blackpink.
Oh, I don't listen to K-pop.
But
I follow a lot of people who do. I have a feeling Blackpink is K-pop, and they also just released an album recently.
That would make sense then. All right. We'll move along now.
That was well coordinated, guys. That was great.
We're probably gonna have spoilers, so if you mind spoilers, I'm someone who doesn't really mind them, but if you mind them, then just know maybe come back and watch this after you've read the book. But if you've read it, or you're watching this back, we're gonna have spoilers about the book.
Yeah. What would we like to talk about first, dudes? Characters, plot.
I mean, you want to do like overall thoughts, maybe?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Like we can go into or whatever y'all want. I don't know.
Yeah, we used to have a structure when we did this. What happened?
I don't know. Hey, at least I took some notes this time.
Notes prepared, my dude. It's fine.
Okay, so just what's your overall thought? Like, well, tell me what you rated it and like why. Maybe
I gave it 4.5 stars because it was so great. But the beginning, I just like it was so funny throughout. It was so enjoyable, so happy. But like Dani pissed me off the entire way through.
Yeah.
And I just because I'm that person, and because it's the second in a like compendium series thing, I kept comparing it to Chloe Brown, and I just loved Chloe Brown so much. But this one, it was so good, and Talia Hibbert just has a way to make you feel like I said this to you guys last night, like just like you're swoony and you're just wrapped in a warm blanket, but also so fucking single. Like, all those things all at once. And yeah, I think she handled what she did in here really well because of Dani, who she is as a character. I think she handled it really well.
Yeah. Charles gave it 5 out of 5, and we like he says here. I'll show you.
Yeah, like I love Dani. Like she's such a big ass character, but she just drove me insane with her thought process. And I like for the most part of this book, it felt so performative that she was just like, no, I don't want to like.
Yeah, I mean, I loved how like badass Dani was. I thought like she was so bold, and like I love that she told people what she like thought, what she wanted. Like I thought she was an amazing character. So I gave it 4.5. Like I'm kind of on that like cusp too. Same spot as you. Like I loved Dani. I kind of was just a little bit like aggravated.
Yeah.
And I completely understand that she had things in her past that, made her kind of mistrust relationships.
Mhm.
But I don't know, to me, it wasn't a big enough reason. I feel bad saying that, but like,
I think it was not brought in early enough.
maybe
I
that's
get that because Dani didn't even realize it herself until she realized that she like was in love with Zach, and she's like, "Oh shit, I got issues." Like,
yeah, and I did like that. I like that we got to like see the light bulb go on.
Oh, yeah, queen progression in here, And like, for the most part, until I got to like the 60% mark, I was like Dani does not deserve Zap. Like, he is too good for her. This is too like she is treating him so. I was just so mad at her, and then like we got to the end, I was like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. What do you think, Averie?
See, I don't know what to rate it. The thing is, like, Chloe Brown is my favorite book of the year, and I love the book.
Romance ever.
I love it so much, and I connect to Chloe like so much. And I don't know, but like this one, it was really good. I loved Dani and like how funny she was and how blunt and honest she was. I guess it's just like I connected to Chloe so much to where like this book didn't have as much like heart to me as the other book because I didn't connect to it all that much because I connected to
a more of a humorous tone than the other one. But it was so funny, but it dealt with really dark stuff.
Yeah,
anxiety and stuff. And I think even though Chloe Brown deals with chronic illness, and even with Red, his anxiety and his mental, it was anxiety that he had, right?
I honestly don't remember.
I think it was because near the end he was
Red. I think
he had like a thought spiral or whatever, and then
he had
to go to therapy. Like we love in this household Talia Hibbert's men.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and like that was we were talking about Dani, but Zaf was her.
Oh, see, I love Zaf way more than Dani.
Yeah,
like I love Zaf more than Dani.
Yeah, I would let Zaf step on me, and I would still marry them. Dani, I wouldn't let her marry me. She's too much for me, but like I would let her stick around.
I'm so excited for Eve's book. I feel like
me too.
Eve may top Chloe. I don't know. We'll see. I love Eve.
Like she's more of like our generation, like just a little bit younger. She's a little bit more social media savvy. She just has that. I'm so excited.
Yeah. When like she's a romantic, like she reads romance novels. She's very like, I'm gonna find the one. So I'm curious to see like what wrench she throws at her for that.
What is it?
I think too, like it's really interesting because everyone I've kind of been talking to either loved Chloe or Dani, like just as a character a little bit more. And I think that's swaying it. I think that's totally normal. Like everyone's going to have different opinions on which one. And I think like I said, she did such a good job of giving those characteristics that I think that's why it's easy to pick.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love this person, or like, I love this person. You know what I mean? So overall, great. And Zaf was just so good. I loved how he was this big, tough guy, but he was talking about mental health and, working with kids. And I mean, I'm like, I hope there's a person out there like him, like doing that, you know?
Because I'm going to marry them, okay? I just had to Google the title for the next one, and it's Actor Age Eve Brown. So, like, that's going to be good. That's going to be good.
Yeah. I'm already ready.
The title,
that's going to be our book club book whenever it comes out.
Yes, I totally agree, Charles. I love how unique each book is. Like, it's just, Talia Hibbert is the queen of romance. She is my favorite romance author. I am declaring it now. I've read.
Then you need to go read her backlist, dude.
I have them on my list.
So yeah, I think, okay, does anyone want to talk about favorite scenes or something they didn't like?
Can we talk for a hot second about Goblin Market?
Oh.
If nobody knows who's watching, I am an English major. I have a degree in the English literature. Okay, I studied Goblin Market, and I was in my car driving to my friend's house when we were gonna go to what we were doing. I don't even know what the hell we were doing. Oh, we were gonna go play D&D. That's what we were doing. But like, I was picking her up, and where the shit is it?
It's near the very beginning, the scene where they're talking about the Goblin Market scene. It was funny, and I was not an English major.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I studied that too.
I remember specifically studying this poem in class, and Goblin Market is the most Christian sex poem I've ever read in a class ever. It is a lot. But like the fact that I was in my car when Dani walks in and she's just like, all right, Christina Rossetti, Goblin Market, let's discuss. Emily started off and Emily's like totally about banging. I was like, here we go. This is so good. This had me cry laughing in my car. I was laughing so hard. And then they got off on like Harry Potter, which is so good because someone was like, the goblins are anti-Semitic. I'm like, yeah, Harry Potter's problematic. We understand this. And someone else goes, don't shit talk Harry Potter. I'm like, no, shit talk Harry Potter. We're in that era now. We can do this.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I need to go read this essay though, or poem. It's a poem, right?
Oh, it's very interesting.
Because I know the names like Lizzie and Laura. They're the two names of the sisters in this poem. And Lizzie cannot, like, in our heads, we automatically cast her as like the evil one and then Laura as the saint, but it's swapped in this one. So Lizzie's the good one, Laura's the bad one. And like Laura, or the bad one, she gets like, the whole synopsis is like she gets lured in by these goblins who are selling this fruit. And like there's like the kids have been told all their lives, don't do it because you'll be like this girl who's now basically a whore. She's a prostitute, a sex worker. That's the way you're saying it. That's where you're supposed to say it. Sorry. But like, then like Laura goes and she does it. And then there's this scene right at the end of the poem that is so orgasmic and incestuous. There are juices literally running down this girl's body. Like it's too much. And this scene made it so good.
Okay. In conclusion, if you're an English major, read that scene.
Yes. Do it. Read Goblin Market and then read this scene and you'll laugh. It's amazing. Yeah.
All the ones with Zaf and his family. Yeah. I love too how she so easily, like seamlessly, without like, you know how sometimes you feel like when people put families in, it feels like forced. Like, oh, this person needs a family, so we better find him a family, like a figure. I don't know. I thought this was such a well done thing, and obviously with like the past grief he had and everything. Yeah. I loved his niece and I loved his sister-in-law.
So good. Like, I want a novella between Kieran and I want a novella because we already know that they're together. I just want their like little love story slice.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Me too.
I love how Zaf called his niece Fluffy.
Yeah. It was so sweet.
Like I have water everywhere.
I just get the like warm and fuzzies with his family and with with Dani's family. Like the same thing. Like they're just, I'm like, you guys are the bomb, you know? Like you kick each other's butt when it needs to be kicked and you like help them when they need help. You know, that's what
I loved all the scenes where I think there's only like one at the beginning and the one at the end of them all in Chloe's apartment, and then Ren is there, and he just makes the scene.
When she's like, okay,
and she's like, "Do you know anybody who can murder a man?" And he walks in, he's like, "Hey, if I'm murdering this sex god man, I'm gonna need help."
Yeah.
I love him so much.
I do wish there was a little more like Red and Chloe, but I think it was done on purpose to like not overshadow everyone. Yeah, and there's a lot of diversity. Exactly. She makes that so natural too. Like,
yes, I also want Gigi's story.
Yeah, me too.
With her lesbian lover.
I love her. But yeah, Averie, do you have a favorite scene?
Favorite scene? Dude, I just love when they get together for the first time. It was so good.
Yep, that was good too.
Can we talk about the fact, I said this in my vlog yesterday when I was wrapping this shit up, but like the first, where is it? I dog-eared it. Where is it?
And it was kind of a slow burn in a way. Like this is
Oh my god, yeah.
because they knew each other for like so well.
In this first part of the book.
He's calling you out.
Listen, Sally Hibbert can write some sexy freaking scenes. I'm also really glad that there's only one in here, like one really big one.
That's
Because
true.
usually in romance books we have one big one and then 2 or 3 little ones after. I think we had that with Chloe Brown too. There was a few intense scenes throughout, right? Because it was like slowly breaking Chloe's walls down or whatever the hell metaphors. But like the amount of goddamn tension between Jeff and Dani in this first chunk of this goddamn book, I was like, I listened to the audiobook more than I actually read this physically, and I was like going on walks with my dog, and I was just sitting there like, I can't do this. This is what's happening. Give me the scene, and it took until more than halfway through, I died.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think sometimes books feel like a slow burn when they're not necessarily, because like the tension was just like building, because I think it's because they knew each other, right? Like they already were like perfect, and we saw that, so we're like, all right, get to it already, like come on. But
like Zaf already like wanted Dani way back, and I think Dani did too. Like she had some like just
she had talked about
sexy stuff. Like, yeah, I would too. Sexy security guards standing there.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good point though, because like page number wise, it's probably not a slow burn. It's about like a normal progression.
I don't think it's slow burn. Slow burn romances usually appear not really in romance books. They appear in other genres that have romance in them, because then you can have
for sure some slow burn romances. Read some Mariana Zapata. You're
Oh god,
400 pages for that stuff to happen.
yeah, that's true.
I don't know if I would ever read a Mariana Zapata because I am so impatient. And those you get
reading
400 and then they get together.
For the romance, I don't want to have no slow burn, but like it works in my head for like fantasy and stuff. Other things happening whilst the romance is budding. The slow burn in there is usually chef's kiss. I think this just has so much sexual tension. That's it.
I love pining. I love when a man pines. Holy and then you like hear his inner dialogue of him pining, and I'm like,
that moment after they like, or like even during when it like changes to his point of view, like that whole scene, because it's a long ass scene. Like,
it was.
I loved it
before the interview, right? Like, and then the interview happens, and then they're in their in Dani's apartment just chatting. I'm like,
get to it.
and then it's like goes, and then it amps up. But like when it switches to his point of view, it's just like the fact that this is a long ass scene. He just like kept turning the pages, and then it switches, and he's like, "Oh shit, this is not. No, why am I so dumb? Because I thought that this was gonna make me not like her anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like literally in love with her. I'm like, oh god,
I know.
For somebody would not catch feelings."
But I think you're right though. Like this one's probably not a slow burn. It's more like just the tension is like so palpable. Like you just like want it to happen.
And then like once it does happen, the tension goes away.
Yeah.
And then it focuses on their relationship and on them specifically, which I think is done so well, you know?
Yeah. I will say I was a little like, so one of my favorite scenes, there was a couple, but I really like the interview scene with at the radio station, because I loved how she was like terrified that they wouldn't know anything, but really like they already know each other. Like they're perfect. You know what I mean? And so I love that scene. I just thought it was so cute how they were like, or especially Dani was like, oh my gosh, I already know this person. So I love that. But the only thing with when they first got together was like, I loved it, but then it was like after, it made me so sad.
Yeah.
Like I literally felt like I was being punched in the stomach with like how like poor Zaf. Like I'm just like, no.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why, like, I get it though, because it was like narratively wise, like they had just made that deal, they had just come up with all these rules, and then they go and do this, and then immediately Zap is like, I want to throw these rules out the fucking window, and she's just like, no, we got to follow these rules because that's how I've lived my life for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Which I understand. It did make me mad, but what really made me mad, and I think could have been done better on Talia's part, is the scene where Dani finally agrees to actually date Zaf, and then 12 hours later, she changes her mind, and she's like, we tried, and it didn't work. I'm like, you've tried for 12 goddamn hours, get your head out of your ass. Like, I was so mad. I was like, no, this doesn't happen 12 hours after the fact. Talia, spread it out a little. Like, I was just sitting in my chair just, like, seething. Because it made sense, but it didn't have enough room to breathe for me. Like, when you think about Chloe Brown and their big fallout with Red and Chloe, you had time. There was a few weeks in there where they weren't together, right? Like, there was time spread out where they had to deal with their own issues. This, it's like 72 hours, break up, get back together, you know?
Yeah.
There's not enough time in there. That's what the ending was rushed for me.
See, that was my issue too. I hate rushed endings so much, especially when there's like a breakup scene and then they make up really fast. That just doesn't really do it for me. That's not my kind of book. So yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing that kind of drove me nuts, is how much well thought out the first 75% of this book was. And then the big issue. Why do we even need big issues in romance books, you guys? Why can't they just all live happily ever after? Why can't we just keep going?
You need a climax, Jen.
Oh, give them a climax through sex. I don't care. Like, please.
I mean, I kind of felt the same way. I mean, a part of it was Zaf's fault, like, totally, and he said that, like, he shouldn't have, like,
pushed her.
He shouldn't have pushed her, and he also shouldn't have, like, he even said, like, I was wrong, like, I thought I could kind of change you instead, and, like, we all know you cannot go into something changing somebody, but I think, so it was totally, like, it was both sides doing something, but it's harder for me to, like, understand Dani's perspective in that sense of, like, you have this perfect person
who loves you
12 hours. Exactly. He loves you. He's so supportive. Like,
you're not doing anything wrong. This is how relationships are supposed to be. Like, they're supposed to be give and take. And she's like, no, we tried. Walls go up. And I'm like, and I get
but
it.
It's also like, I kind of do get it though, because, like, the more I think about it, I'm like, well, if I were in her shoes and I had those, like, really bad feelings about a relationship, like, maybe I would freak the heck out. You know what I mean? Like,
I would freak out, but not in that way. It would be one of those things where I would backpedal really hard the next morning. I wouldn't have this, like, deep, intimate conversation and then backpedal. It would be I would wake up in his bed and be like, oh no, backpedal super goddamn hard, run out of the house. Like, that's what I thought was gonna happen. That she was just gonna run, instead of having, like, this really lovely, intimate conversation, and, like, where they actually care about each other. And Zaf's just like, God damn, you're so perfectly imperfect. And Zaf, he's so good.
okay. Dani can be bae. She is bae, just not.
See, that's me with Chloe. That's
I
want to reread Chloe now.
Me too.
I just got the book in the mail because I finally got the physical copy of it because I got it from the library. So
nice. Yeah, I think that this story though couldn't have been done with a character like Chloe.
Oh no,
this is very specifically Dani's story.
Yeah,
you know?
Like, and I love how, like you said, I think it was Charles said, they were so different. Like, a lot of times when you read, like, contemporary romance series, especially if you read them close together, sometimes they can seem a little too similar. So yeah, I agree. They're so different. One thing I kept thinking, and, like, tell me if you guys think this is, like, I don't know if it was intentional or just something I thought, but it almost seemed like the two characters are flipped in what is the, like, typical like gender stereotypes for a relationship. Like typically, like I'm using air quotes because I'm not saying people have to be this way, but
typically the man is the one who runs.
Yeah,
right?
the man's the one who doesn't want anything serious. He doesn't like he's the one who gets cold feet, you know, and then the girl is the one who's a little
I want to settle down.
Mhm. Yeah. So I kind of felt like I liked though that it was the opposite. That was just really different and not something you see every day in a romance novel. So I like that.
I like that with Zaf. I like to see like a soft boy. Like, you know, like we get a lot of those alpha heroes, and don't get me wrong, I like alpha heroes, but I also like soft boys who like love romance and like admit when they have anxiety and
I love Zaf so much. He's so well rounded. Oh my god. I think I yelled this at you guys last night about the fact that like was it you? Probably. I was yelled at it either you or my camera, I don't know. But it was the fact that like we get these two aesthetically super hard bad boys. Like Red is like drives a motorcycle and has tattoos, and Zaf is a massive goddamn security guard who looks mad all the time
and has a resting bitch face.
Resting bitch face, and his resting murder face. I think that's what Jamal said at the beginning. Resting murder face, which is a little worse, but like still. Yeah. And then like we get those two characters, and like Red is the soft art bean, and Zaf just like loves romance and likes talking about his feelings. I'm like, this is so good. This is what I want. I want men like this in my life. This is what I want.
I've yet to meet a man that's actually like that. So like, he's like,
turn on board, please.
Diamond in the rough.
Yes, and I'm with you. I think it's great to be these men. Yeah,
that's a good thing.
I don't know where they're hiding. We need to find them somewhere. I'm looking hard, but you know.
Yes. Oh god, yes. I agree, Charles. More alpha females, more cinnamon men. It's here. We need it.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen it a lot more recently, and I think hopefully it keeps, you know, changing.
Yeah,
so
I think the last book that I read where I was like, wow, this is like the alpha female is kind of a huge thing in like YA literature, right? Like we just have girls who are being badass everywhere. Yeah. And it's been like that since like Katniss, like, you know, like it's been everywhere. Yeah. But the usually the male co-part is like saving the day. He's the superhero, you know. But I think the book that I read recently was the Song of Wraiths and Ruin. We had Malik. And Malik is like, he thinks he's delusional. Like he thinks he's crazy because his whole life he's been told he's been crazy because he sees visions, right?
Wow.
And he is weak. Like he can't keep up with his sister, and he's like physically ill looking. Like he's just this little cinnamon roll who wants to protect his sisters but can't because he's so weak. And I'm just like, wow. This is amazing. I love this. But also it really annoyed me because Malik was like kind of weak in a way that like he was really easily to manipulate by things, which is what moves the plot along. So I'm excited to see where that goes. But yeah, that book is good. Read it.
Yeah, I think I have it on my list to get to. I've been in like a really weird mood where I kind of want to pick up. Like I used to read a ton of YA fantasy, like maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, and I've just been really craving some. So that's on my list of
Yeah, there's not a lot of romance in it. This first one.
Is there going to be more in the series?
Pitched as like a hate to love romance, and I was like, okay, I didn't see that at all in it. But there was a few scenes in there. I can only really remember one specifically.
Yeah.
Maybe two where like the tension was there between the two main characters because like, do you guys know the synopsis of the book?
I read it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you told us about it.
We have Malik and Karina who are like both trying to kill each other, but also I think that's where the hate to love comes in because they both are trying to kill each other. And they don't know that they're going to try and kill each other. But they like Malik knows he's trying to kill the crown princess. And like Karina knows that she's going to eventually have to kill somebody at the end of this whole thing. And she's like, I don't want to. It's very convoluted and complicated. But
I found the plot to that so intriguing. Like I love that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think I gave it like 4 stars because like I have read so much YA fantasy in my life that like a lot of it is very similar.
Yeah.
This did a lot of really good things, and I can't wait to see where the series goes.
Especially if it's going to be a series, like there's probably going to be more tension and like romancy stuff like later on.
The world is starting to open up now. Like things have happened at the end of the book where like, and I love that in a fantasy book where you like are stuck in this city or whatever in the first book, and then at the end it like cracks open and you're like, yes, we gotta get out of this. It's
gonna read this one then, because there's romance in this one.
I need to read that. It's on my list too. I've got a large list.
This is Hate to Love.
Okay.
But it's like the Raven cycle, right? Where she's destined to kill her true love kind of thing.
She has, so she's a bone crier and they like ferry people to the dead. And to be able to become like a full, like get all your powers and basically work with the other women, you have to collect the bones of 3 animals, harness their power, wear their necklace, and then the last thing you have to do is you have to go find your true love, play the flute to lure him to you, and kill him on a bridge.
Oh god,
that's very specific.
Very
so.
It's a beautiful cover. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read it. I feel like we have similar tastes in like
in this one.
Stuff.
In this one.
Yes, I second that one. That one's so good. You need to read the second one, Averie.
I know.
Did it just come out though?
No, it came out
in December of last year.
It's so like sort of recent.
It's alright. It's the best.
I just am scared to read it.
Trust me.
Know that
I'm really excited for the third one.
Write the sequel?
And I like.
There's a big time gap between the first and the second releasing, right?
I think there was like a year and a half, maybe. I don't think it was 2 years. I don't actually know though. I could be wrong on that. It could have been 2 years.
I read that maybe a year before, or more than a year before the second one came out, because I had brown hair back then. So,
yeah.
Charles says it will destroy you, Averie. The second book.
It was, I mean, yeah, kind of, but it wasn't in a good way. Kind of. I am really excited for the third one, though. I like the last one. I need it. Charles asked, is the Bone Criers one smutty?
They don't do the deed. They don't do the deed. It's YA, and like it's like there's like ultimate tension though.
Yeah,
and like drawing,
which it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I kind of agree that I do kind of wish. I mean, that's why I like the fantasy romance type stuff.
It gives me that.
Because I like if you want to like a fantasy with a little more romance in it, like I feel like that's the route you go. I love fantasy too.
All fantasy has romance in it. That's like a given.
Actually, I have to show you a book that
Super is not.
I'm reading this one for summer fling.
Yay! I'm so happy you read that one.
Serpent and Dove is not super smutty. Have you read A Court of Thorns and Roses?
The first one's not even smutty.
No, and like Serpent and Dove only has one scene and it's on a rooftop, but it's smutty.
Wait, it's on a rooftop.
Yes,
I guess it depends on like
next to me. I need to read
virginity because he's so fucking pure.
I've never read that. I haven't read that one yet. I don't know.
I enjoyed it as I was reading it. I called it my guilty pleasure because it's such a terrible book. Like it's not good, but it's good. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me with Ice Planet Barbarians. Like they're not the best things ever written, but like they're amazing.
Have you moved to the YA section, Charles?
That's good if it has been. Just because especially later on, I don't think I'd want my like 13-year-old.
See, the thing is also, though, with the Throne of Glass series, those are all in the YA section, and the last 3 are very explicit.
Yeah, I never finished that series.
Like, it should 100% be in the adult section. Because, like, there are children under the age of 13 reading that shit.
I think it also depends.
Oh, like, all book workers of all kinds should be warned. Be like, hey, if you ever see a parent buying this shit for your kid, tell them about
Yeah.
the
Well, and I think it depends on like I know the library sometimes will put it in a different place than like the bookstores will put it. You know what I mean? I think honestly half the time it depends on who's shelving the books and if they know what they're shelving, because I've been in 2 different bookstores and seen different books in different sections. So I think sometimes it's just like the person, like the paper. Did you guys read the Paper Princess series by you?
Yes,
Probably
yes. Those should not be in the YA section.
those should not be in the YA section.
Oh my
And
God. My friend was watching this live stream.
oh really?
I feel violated, but in a good way.
Okay, well tell her hi.
My best friend from high school. She's just sent me a bunch of screenshots of us.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
And she's like, I had to leave because I had to do stuff. I was like, you were watching.
that's so funny. Okay, any other thoughts on Dani Brown? I can tell you a favorite quote because I only wrote a couple down because I'm really bad at remembering every down.
Give it to me.
I liked how, I think one of the things that I realized about halfway through, once we hit the sexy stuff, after that, I found that it was not as funny. Like it had
More serious.
the humor. It became more serious.
Mm-hmm.
It was still lighthearted, but it was just not as.
Yeah, and I think part of it was like the characters were dealing with their problems more. You know, they kind of been ignoring them kind of in the first half.
Yeah.
But one of the quotes that was like in the first couple pages that I was like already like loving Dani was when she's like, reward me with what? Because I only accept books or food. Page 9.
Yes. I love her.
I'm like, that's because when that guy was like hitting on her in the coffee shop and he's like, I just thought that was so funny. Because I'm like, that's what you can reward me with, books or food.
Yeah. There's a line in here that Zaf says.
And there was a lot of really pretty quotes. I just didn't write a lot of them down.
Yeah, I was racing to finish this book, so I was just listening to the audio.
Yeah. I almost wish I got the audio because I was going to get it, but I didn't have an Audible credit yet. I thought I did, and it's not till next week.
One of my other audiobooks because I was like, here, Audible, give me a credit.
I didn't think about that.
Pardon?
I didn't even know you could do that.
You can. There's a limit.
If you don't like love it.
Yeah, like if you listen, like there's a lot of like you're supposed to only use it if you like listen to like 30 minutes of it and can't like understand the narrator or don't like it or whatever. But I use it specifically just so I can get more than one book a month because that's like Audible's just so cheap for that.
See, that's why I have Audible Escape. Audible Escape is my life.
Yeah.
You know, if I read more romance, I would do that as well.
Audible canceled. The price, Charles?
Oh yeah, they were canceled because of their accessibility bullshit.
Oh, I didn't know.
What happened?
I don't even know. Like I caught the tail end of it.
I didn't hear about that one.
I deleted all my social media besides Bookstagram, so I don't know anything.
Here's the thing. I used to never have Audible. I just had Audible Escape. But I bought it recently just because I wanted a couple things on audiobook, and it was a better deal than buying it outright. But I really wish my library would get Hoopla because I used to use that, and I never used Audible because Hoopla had it. But
I mean, Libby is a thing.
What?
Libby. Just get Libby.
I have Libby, but my Libby has almost all ebooks. I think it depends on what your library has. And mine has like 80% ebooks and then like maybe 20% audio, which is still
all audio and no ebooks.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I find it.
That is really annoying, Charles, because it's like there are so many books that are only in Audible, and they're so freaking expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's something also for accessibility. Like they're not. There's something to do with accessibility issues as well. People were yelling about. But I don't even have Audible. I just somehow I guess I've paused my membership for some reason.
That's what I did.
I don't know, but the line I was looking for in here was when Zaf was explaining the fact that he would like make dinner for Dani and would just like do stuff like a normal human being, and she would look at him like a lizard, like because it was just like no one had done that for her before. No one would care about her work, and she's just like, well, that's normal. And he's like, that is the least normal. No, people should care about you, Dani.
Yeah.
Like, you are more than just your body, right? Like, like Zaf is so good. But there was another one. I think it was. I can't find it. I know I underlined it, but it was framed scars in gold or something. Like that's what Zaf was doing with Chocolate. Like he should frame his scars in gold.
Oh yes,
Oh,
yes.
I
I remember that
that.
line. It was really well written. I remember thinking that. Yeah.
They say it a few times. Like that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love Zaf. I feel like we can end on that. Our love of Zaf.
Zaf, man.
I think
I
I just
love Redford a little bit more though, but I still love him.
I don't know.
I'm kind of Zaf a little more than Red because Red, I feel like we didn't get that soft side with Red, as much as we do with Zaf.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was more with Zaf and Dani, they were friends from the beginning. So you had their banter, you had their openness with each other as friends. But with Chloe and Red, it was a hate to love, right? Like they didn't understand each other at the beginning, so it was more animosity there. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I have to reread that book. It's been so long.
Yeah.
Many months.
Yeah. I feel like in conclusion though, we all really liked it still. And Hallie Hibbert is an amazing writer.
Oh my God. Other books now.
So good. So yeah, does anyone else have anything they want to say about it?
I agree, Charles. Red's was more internal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
You know what I want? I want to see Zaf and Red meet each other.
Yes.
I was waiting for that. I was like, please, can we have these two literary heroes?
Yeah.
What to call them? Heroes. We're gonna go literary heroes in this room together. I
feel like their family, like once they all find their, like Eve finds her person too, I just want her to write like some kind of like just fluffy scene at the end, like Christmas or something.
Yes, give me a Christmas novella with the
or like a fan fiction or something. Because they're so funny and sweet. I would literally read like anything, you know? So
same.
I'm excited to meet Eve's. I'm so
I'm excited to see what she does with that. I feel like
Charles.
No. She got to find her own man.
I was waiting for the Chloe and Red like proposal in here. I was waiting for it.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was interesting though that I do appreciate that because I know I don't mind an engagement at the end. I don't mind it, but I do like that there's more and more books that are ending without like your stereotypical like
happily ever after
at the end.
I appreciated that so much with Talia's her books. I appreciate that she doesn't end it with an engagement because that makes it makes romance books feel so cheap. And like just not cheap, but like just corny too much, like too much cheese. I'm like, no, just give us 3 months later them sitting on a beach. I don't know.
Like I'm like mixed because I do love a good epilogue. I mean, I do love it.
If it's done well, it works.
Yeah.
Like but that it worked really well. I think Beach Read did okay.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the time jump too for me. Like if they gotta give, it depends on the book, the relationship, and how much time has passed. You know, like for me to believe it.
Met didn't do it well. I think Well Met needed more relationship in that entire book. But that was like a critique of that book. But that was another
very well played though.
Engagement was at the end. I don't know. I just feel like it's this expected staple of a romance book to have that as an epilogue. And I appreciate it so much that she didn't do that with this one. I think if she had, I would have been giving this like a 3-star because I'm like, no, if you gave that to me after a year, you do not understand Danica Brown.
Exactly, especially with her character. You know, like, he's gonna have to take his sweet, sweet time with that one. Maybe flip it on her hand in the middle of the night or something. See how she reacts.
7 years later, finally,
it's fine. Like you don't have to be married. You know what I mean? But yeah. So, yep.
Maybe
Anything?
Dani should ask Zaf to marry her. That would be cute.
Yeah, I could totally see that happen.
Dude, yes.
Yeah, that would be amazing. So the next month's book, which we don't have yet because it hasn't come out yet, but we're gonna read You Had Me at Ola by Alexis Daria, which has the most beautiful cover.
Let me pull it up for you.
So I was so excited when I sent these guys a couple choices, and I'm like, I was really happy you wanted to read this one. Because it was already high on my list to get. So I'm gonna have to buy the paperback for this one though, because it's just
same.
It's so pretty. I think it comes out like what next week? Maybe?
It comes out on August 4th, so we are reading an August release for this month, and it'll be on my channel. Yay!
Yay!
Please talk with us because last time nobody did. We were just talking, the three of us, the entire time.
The thing is too, a lot of people watch them after, which I do too.
Yeah.
Like I can hardly ever make it to live streams. Like I really wanted to watch the one last night when Jess and Lacey talked about
From Blood and Ash.
Yes, because I love that book so much, but I completely forgot, and then it was after the fact. So, but yeah.
Kate Kavanaugh's videos because she does writing sprints.
Oh,
but
I love her.
She gets up so damn early. I'm like, Kate, can you do one halfway through the day? Can you do one at like starting at noon for me, please?
Yeah.
9 in the morning, please. I'm not like I might be okay, but I'm not here.
It's so hard to pick a time that works for everybody, but
you just have to find YouTubers that like aim during the day.
yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're excited to read that book. It's gonna be
Also, follow us on Twitter because I post updates all the time on Twitter, and we only have like 12 followers. So please follow us on Twitter. Our damn tweets, please.
Charles. Yeah. See, I don't go on Twitter either, so maybe we should I'll start pushing it on Instagram.
Me engaging with myself because I'm posting on the Lovely Ladies Book Club Twitter, and then I go onto my account and retweet it because I'm like, see this.
I don't know.
I used to do that too when I ran it.
I know. Twitter just is not a happy place for me, so I had to
I love how just as long as people drag
that's so funny.
Follow us there. We will let you know when the live stream will be held. We are thinking early September. Possibly the 5th, which is fun because that's between Averie's and my birthday.
Or so maybe the week after.
So we'll have a birthday celebration, maybe. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we could
Maybe. I might have plans, so we may have to push the week back, but
we can do it the 12th. That's totally fine.
Yeah. But yes, make sure to join us for We Met You, or You Had Me at Ola.
We met you. Anyways, yes, we love Dani Brown. Hopefully you loved it. And
thanks for joining, Charles.
Thanks for joining us, Charles.
This was very entertaining.
Bye, Charles. And anyone else watching.
Thank you.
Bye.